Hello everybody, welcome back. So today I thought I would talk you through the first ear test on the Rockschool exams. So the first ear test is known as fill, playback and recognition. What a catchy title that is. So what do we have to do in this test and what's it worth? Well, first of all, it's worth 5 marks. It's worth 5% of the exam. This is the first of 2 ear tests, fill, playback and recognition. So the way this works is that the examiner is going to play a recording of somebody playing a fill entirely on the snare drum. And all the way through all the grades from debut right up to grade 8, it's always just on the snare drum. It would never be on any other drum. And you're going to hear that fill being played twice. So you'll hear the click, 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 and then the fill being played, and then another series of clicks, 4 clicks, and then the fill being played again. And then on the backing track that you will play, there is then a silence. And that silence is exactly long enough for you to practice what you've heard or what you think you've heard twice. And it's very, very important that the moment the recording of the fill finishes, you start playing and you start practicing. Very, very important that you practice. Because if you don't practice in that silence, that pause, the memory of what you've heard will fade. And by the time you're actually being tested on it, you will have forgotten it. Very good chance. So I'm going to talk you through one now. I'll do a debut one. It's going to be very, very easy. But the principle holds true all the way up through the grades. So this is what I would do in a Rockschool exam for an ear test 1. So I'm just going to listen the first time. Now I'm going to hear it again. This time I'm going to air drum. Now there's a silence. I'm practicing. And again.
One,
click.
2, 3, 4.
Hopefully I've played that correctly. You tell me. So the idea is that you're going to hear it twice. It's going to be click, 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 then the fill, then click, 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 then the fill again. Then there is a silence. It is important that, in my view, that you just listen the first time you hear it, air drum the second time, don't hit anything that's going to make a noise. So while you are listening to the ear test for the second time, don't start hitting the snare drum because you may obscure the sound that you are there to listen to. So the first playthrough, listen to it. The second playthrough, air drum. As soon as the recording finishes, play it, practice it twice, whatever you think you've heard. And then a click, 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 click will come in, and then you play it back. And it's what you play at that point that you're being marked on. The important things here to remember are never change your mind. So whatever you think you've heard and whatever you've practiced during that silence in the recording, stick to it. Don't change your mind. Don't start second guessing yourself. Don't start thinking, oh, did I hear an extra snare drum there? Was there an extra eighth note there? Stick to what you think you've heard, because the chances are that whatever you think you've heard was correct, or it was as correct as you're going to get it. And if you try and second guess yourself and change your mind, then you're more likely to get it wrong. And I've seen this again and again and again in practicing with my pupils. The ones that listen the first time, air drum the second time, practice twice straight away, and then play whatever they've done in the practice to the click, they are the ones that do well in these tests. So I'll walk you through it again, same example. So this time I'm just listening. This time I'm going to air drum. Straight away practice. And again.
1, 2,
This is what I'm about to be
3,
tested on.
4.
So it's what I played there that I'm being marked on. That's the important bit. Everything else before was a preamble. So listen to the first playing, air drum to the second playing, practice twice, wait for the click, which is leading into you playing it, and that's what you're being marked on. Then once you've played it, you are given a choice. You'll be given 2 different possibilities on a page as to what you've just heard. So did you hear A or did you hear B? In the later grades it's A, B or C, so it gets a little bit more complicated in that sense, but the same principle still holds true. You've played what you thought you've heard, and then you're asked to recognise it on a piece of paper. Did you hear A or B, or C in the later grades. And if you've played the fill correctly, or even mostly correctly, the odds are that you'll pick it out properly as well. So it's worth 5% of the exam, the fill playback and recognition. And in my view, it causes people sometimes a disproportionate amount of anxiety. People really worry about it. And it's important to remember that it's not hugely vital. If you don't do that well on it, it's not necessarily going to make or break the exam, although obviously if you're looking for a distinction mark of 90% plus, you're going to be looking to get at least 4 out of 5, hopefully 5 out of 5. But if you follow that technique, which is to listen to the first playthrough, air drum on the second playthrough, practice twice straight away, don't change your mind, wait for the click to come in leading to the actual test, if you like, play whatever it is that you think you heard, don't change your mind, and then the examiner puts the piece of paper in front of you. Did you hear A or B, or in the later grades C? And I've sent a lot of pupils into these ear tests. They tend to do well if they follow that technique and stay calm, listen, and follow those steps. You should be alright. I hope that's helped, and thank you for watching. Bye bye now.